Hi, welcome to the 6th week of the season of Lent and the next of these organic devotions. Thanks for passing by in your journey. There is a particular pathology of adolescence that some of us never outgrow that I might call the Superman syndrome. So called not because those who are afflicted are able to exert superhuman strength, but because she or he believes themselves to be bulletproof. You know, it doesn't matter how fast I drive or how much I drink or how recklessly I live, because nothing bad could possibly ever happen to me. You know, bulletproof. For some, the delusion is born of simple naivete that quite literally bad things won't happen. For others, the delusion is more egotistical, that because of their great importance, no one would let anything bad happen to them. Certain financial institutions, after all, were deemed too big to fail. Some corporations sensed that they were too important to let fail. And then there are the individuals. Recently, an all-star college quarterback who had led his team through 2 triumphant seasons, perhaps approached the bowl game to which his team had been invited with just this kind of Superman syndrome. A couple of nights before the big game, he slipped out of his hotel room after curfew, set up shop in a local bar where he proceeded to get sloppy drunk, and in the process of getting kicked out of the bar, got into a tussle with a police officer, struck him, and wound up in jail, apparently under the delusion that he was too significant to the team to incur any consequences. The head coach, however, exerting a few superpowers of his own, saw through the false mystique and suspended the player, causing him to miss this final game of his college career. But in a final note of poetic justice, the team, quite beyond expectations, went on to win the game without him. But that's reality. We aren't bulletproof. But even Jesus had to think about it. That's what I'm convinced is going on in this third and final temptation that Jesus confronted in the wilderness. If in that first temptation he was tempted to elevate his appetite over his soul and expedience over fidelity, Jesus is now taken by the devil to Jerusalem, to the very pinnacle of the temple, and dared to throw himself down. After all, the devil taunted him, "It is written, he'll command his angels to guard you, and on their hands they'll bear you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone." It might have been that Jesus looked out over the edge of that pinnacle at the plummeting drop below and simply didn't have the courage to jump. A bit like a child backing down the ladder of the high dive at the swimming pool after looking at the precipitous drop from the end of that board. But that's not what it says. According to Luke's gospel, Jesus received the biblical quotes cited by the devil and then returned them with one of his own. It's also said, "You shall not put the Lord your God to the test." What kinds of foolish chances are you sometimes tempted to take, or eat, or drink, or smoke, or incur through any number of delivery systems, believing that God's ministering angels will somehow swoop in and save your hide or your soul? You know that nothing bad will happen to you. I hope you'll return here again next week for the next installment of these organic devotions.